Hello everyone, Andrew with you here, and welcome to Barcelona, the Circuit de Catalunya for round 5 highlights of the Vortex Racing League's PS3 Formula 1 Championship. Just a little notification, if you're watching this video and not part of the Vortex Racing Leagues and you play on the PS3, you want to get involved, the GP2 Championship is starting I think next week. It's got enough players to start now, but there are still places available, so if you're interested in getting involved in a bit of online league racing, then I'd strongly recommend that championship, as it's the one that I started in last year. So as we watch my best qualifying lap, let's run down the championship standings after 4 rounds. And it's Richie in the lead on 60 points, consistently scoring. Not yet got a race win, but sometimes in these leagues it's not necessarily about winning. It's more about being consistent in attending all the races. So he's leading. Italian Blue is second on 51, SS Power on 50, Domino on 48, Tyler on 42, Gadelho 32, I Super Scrub on 26, Ferrari Italia with his one single win from Australia with 25, Freddie on 19, and me rounding out the top 10 on 18. So the grid for this 5th round, Freddie takes pole position from Italian Blue in 2nd. Tyler will be happy with qualifying 3rd on the grid, and Richie, good qualifying from him in 4th. Matt qualifies 5th. Gadelho in 6th, and then it's me in 7th with Darkness Descends alongside me on the 4th row. SS Power and Domino make almost the back of the grid, and then it's Liam right at the back who did not complete a lap. So we're lined up here on the grid at the Circuit de Catalunya. Got 1 light, 2 lights, 3, 4 and 5, and we're away. Decent enough start, keeping level with Gadelho, but Darkness Descends has got a really good start and he's up alongside me on the right hand side. We use a bit of curse to break away from him. Looking up the inside of Gadelho here, we brake later than Gadelho, calmly take it through the first corner and the second corner. Tyler's running a little bit wide there, but everybody's through the first 2 corners, sometimes a bit tricky, as I've been running wide trying to do a Fernando Alonso-esque style move around the outside. That allows Darkness Descends to get up the inside of me. Oh, and both me and Darkness Descends make mistakes there, braking a little bit too late into turn 4. And unfortunately that's put me right at the back. To come around the corner there, Richie's had a problem. He's off on the exit of the corner, and that gives us 9th place. Gadelho and Darkness Descends are battling up ahead of us, and we're right in Gadelho's gearbox now. We'll be looking to overtake as we come through this corner, but no, Gadelho's got a much better exit there, and is going to keep hold of that position. Start of lap 2, Richie's up the inside, he's flying in that Lotus, and he easily takes 9th position. Try to fight back a little bit, but it's to no avail, and Richie is away. Not for long though, he makes a mistake later in the lap and we take 9th position back. Quite uncharacteristic error there from Richie. Not the kind of driving we've been seeing so far this season. So lap 6 we make our first pit stop. These tyres were used quite a bit in qualifying, so they weren't up to prime operating conditions in that first stint, so that first stint has ended up being quite short. So we're pitting for the option tyre, mainly as a bit of a fact-finding exercise. Hadn't really done much setup work and had time to practice, so I didn't really know what the option tyre was going to do in this race, so it was good early on in the race to get that solved. Gadelho had a problem though. He had a collision with Darkness Descends, and that really played into my favour, as it gave me basically a free pit stop over him, because I was right up behind him when I pitted. and then cut back ahead when I came out the pits. Darkness Descends was up behind us, having made a pit stop himself, but unfortunately he lost connection, so sadly he retired from the race only a third of the way through. So as the pit stops cycled through, we were up into 6th position on lap 14, where we then had to deal with a very pacey Matt, who easily took 6th position on his much fresher tyres, and through he went. We pitted at the end of that lap and decided to put the prime tyres back on. So lap 16 we were up behind Gadelho, who was on older tyres and ran wide through turn 3, and this gave us an opportunity to get up the inside and take that position back up into 8th place. Lap 18 and Richie pitted, and that gave us 7th place, and it became pretty clear that this race for me was going to be between myself and Richie. Lap 21, Freddie came through, having gained a lap on me, and really couldn't keep up with that kind of pace. A great performance so far in this race by Freddie, and we knew we were in for a bit of a hard slog when that happened. Lap 24, and Richie had closed up behind us, and we had a good little scrap at this point of the race, and then it hotted up even more, but not for the drivers themselves, as both myself and Richie both pitted at the end of lap 24, and it was going to be down to the pit crews to decide who was going to be out of the pits first. Now, potentially crucial is that Lotus have an earlier pit bay along this pit lane, and sure enough there's a hold up there by the Williams boys, and Richie has nabbed the position. But with fresh tyres and not long in this race to go, we could really push the tyres as hard as we could. Unfortunately though, I just couldn't quite match that pace that Richie had, as is to be expected of the championship leader. Yeah, Richie really came to form in this last bit of the race, but I was quite happy to keep within 10 seconds of him by the end of the race. So all things considered, not much setup practice and general F1 2013 playing before Christmas whilst this race was on. I was quite pleased with the result, to be somewhat competitive, take some points for the championship, and come out of it relatively unscathed. So Freddie takes a light to flag victory. Great drives from the Caterhams, taking 2nd and 3rd. Italian Blue takes 4th. Tyler wraps out the top 5. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. On the screen are 2 videos you might be interested in. On the right is the previous round of the Vortex Racing League's Championship from Bahrain, and on the left is maybe something a little bit different, maybe something that you've maybe not seen on my channel before. It's a video from a little bit far back. Yeah, click on that if you want to see some chaos.